Let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here today with Bruce McCurdy. Welcome, Bruce.
Hey, David. How are you doing tonight?
Well, tonight, Bruce, the show must go on. We're both not feeling that well. I'm still have my stupid cold, and you've got a flu, I understand.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling too great for a big chunk of the day today, for sure.
But you're gritting it out.
Yeah, well, that hockey game didn't make me feel any better either.
Wasn't exactly
Oh,
clipboard
I hate
breaking material, but
hate shutouts. No, it wasn't. There
it
wasn't
was
enough.
dull.
Yeah, there wasn't enough emotional energy on my end of the game to break any clipboards, or even to
Yeah.
roll up my notes and throw them across the room or anything like that. It was just writing was on the wall from early on that just didn't ever seem like they were going to score.
Would you qualify that as a stinker game for the Oilers? Because they were pretty much even in scoring chances, 9 to 8, grade A chances for Arizona. Would you say that was a stinker for the Oilers, though?
Yeah, I think I would call it a stinker.
Okay.
They didn't generate a whole lot. You know, they came out flat as piss on a plate, as one of the old newer sayings go. I don't know where it came from, but
That sounds like something from Newfoundland, Bruce.
I know what it means, and it's pretty self-evident what it means. First period was horrible.
Actually,
Uh,
Bruce, it's not clear to me where piss on a plate comes from. Like,
no, I
who
know.
would ever think of that?
I don't know. It's one of those weird sayings. Flatter than. Okay, I would be flat. Anyway, uh, flat and unpalatable, I think, is the combination, and
I
that's what
see.
this game was. They came on a little bit in the second period, and when you know that's when Arizona actually got their two goals,
Hmm.
kind of against the flow of play, and Edmonton just, uh, as Tippett said, they he was worried that they would have enough juice for this game. He said he was worried yesterday, he was worried this morning, he was worried just before the game. He said they had three very emotional games they played last week in 4 days, and even though they had a couple days off in between times, they just didn't bring it from the start in this game. And unfortunate because opportunity was staring them in the face to put Arizona in particular in the rear view, playing without their number one goalie and their top defense pair. You would think that would be a game where you might actually score a goal or two.
Is Ekman Larson out for long? Is he
I don't
done?
think so. I think day to day is what they said.
Oh, okay. I was
On the
almost going
other
to say.
hand, Giordano got hurt in Calgary tonight, and that sounds like it might be bad, but I don't know for sure. But
Mm.
he did leave the game, and there was a whisper that it might be a torn hamstring or something along those
Ooh,
lines. So
all right.
that's a bad one.
Hmm. Bruce, this is our two good things, two bad things, two numbers, and 57 coughs
Okay.
podcast. Um,
I haven't figured out where the mute button is, David. So I
I
think
don't know if we have them.
that one guy's going to be disappointed. But all we
Yeah,
can do is tough it out, right?
yeah. I'll start with a bad thing, Bruce,
Okay.
which is really the first play of the game, which I think kind of set the stage for what was to come. And the puck goes into the corner on the Oilers' end, and a Coyotes player chases it down. And not one, but two Edmonton Oilers decide, I'm going into that corner, leaving the guy wide open with in the slot. So both Caleb Jones and Shan go into the corner and leave the guy wide open in the slot. And it's just an absolutely, you know, stupendous scoring chance for the Coyotes right out of the gate. And that kind of mental error typified the Oilers' play tonight. I thought they were not sharp, and a lot of probably every defenseman has a play in that game that they'd love to take back. So it was that kind of game for the defensemen, and the forwards were unable to, generally speaking, get anything going in a sustained way on the attack. But I just thought that play set the stage and kind of typified the night. So that's my bad thing. What's yours?
Uh, well, my first thought was the Edmonton Oilers are my bad thing. But I think I'll narrow it down and say the Edmonton Oilers power play, which they had three power play opportunities in this game. And you know, I think coming into tonight, They'd had 3 power plays or more in 27 games this year, which isn't really that many when you consider, it's basically half the games that they had less than 3 power plays. But they'd scored in 24 out of the 27. They scored at least one goal in all those games that they had 3 chances. And tonight they got 3 chances, and they didn't really come that close. They had finally in the third period they had one where they at least had some possession in the offensive zone, but couldn't really generate much dangerous. But the one in the first period was dreadful. They couldn't get over the blue line, and when they finally did get over the blue line, Leon Draisaitl got smoked. It was as hard a hit as he's taken all year. Uh, and of course, on the second one in the middle frame, they gave up a shorthanded goal, and that was lights out on this game. And they just didn't have much clicking on the power play, and gave up the one fatal chance. So I'll single out that aspect of Edmonton's game. But you could look at this game from a number of angles and find something to criticize. And I don't particularly want to spend an hour talking about it. Three
All
hours
right.
watching it was enough.
Yeah. All right. We started with the bad things, which because I think that was fitting. My good thing was, excuse me. I'm going to go with Kailer Yamamoto. He continues to make things happen out there. He was involved in some scoring chances tonight. Clever plays around the net. He goes hard to the net. He's looking like the real deal. So, Kailer Yamamoto. There you go. My good thing.
Okay. Mine is the out of town scoreboard,
Good one.
which saw that all of the Oilers' Pacific Division rivals, except for the team they directly lost to, lost their own games. Uh, Vegas got beat, Vancouver got beat, Calgary got beat, all in regulation, meaning Oilers didn't lose any ground to any team other than Arizona.
Persona.
So uh, it, it's an opportunity lost, man, oh man, a win in this game, and they could have almost left the Coyotes in the rear view and kept their games in hand and added 2 points, but it wasn't to be. But at least they didn't. It wasn't one of those ones where you look around and everybody else won too, and all of a sudden you've dropped 2 points to the whole division. They only dropped 2 points to the one team, and they got help on the out of town scoreboard from Boston, Tampa, and San Jose of all teams that went into Calgary and beat the Flames.
That
And
is
you know
so
what? In
sweet.
Calgary, they were saying the same thing that after the 2 emotional games against Edmonton, that they just didn't have a lot of juice in the Flames tank either. So,
All righty, let's move on to our numbers. My number is 2. And Bruce, these close games are often decided by, like a couple mental breakdowns, a couple great plays, and a couple.
oh,
The first one, I'm talking about the shorthanded goal
yeah.
by the Coyotes. So the first one, did it go off the back of Nugent Hopkins' leg? The shot?
The shot hit the defense. It was blocked by the Arizona guy, and it skittered across the zone. It looked like it was just going to go to the boards, except for it hit Nugent Hopkins' skate and bounced right out into Deadly's open space in the neutral zone with all Oilers trapped on the wrong side of the puck.
2-on-1, and they go down, and then they bounce one off Clefbaum into the net. So two absolutely terrible
Oh,
bounces on the same play, and there's the game. I mean, the Oilers, they just didn't have enough gusto to come back when they were down 2-0 on this night. So, but again, that's hockey. If the Oilers had maybe if they got lucky, they came out in the second period with a bit of life. And if they had gotten lucky on a bounce or two, maybe they would have got the first goal and it would have changed things. Maybe they would have found something then. But that was it after that goal. They didn't have much going on after that.
writing was on the wall.
What is your number?
My number is 0, and that is, at least by my count, maybe you saw something that I missed, but that is the number of scoring chances in which Connor McDavid was involved. And that is a rare, rare, rare thing. but Connor was one of the guys that just didn't have it tonight. He whiffed on the puck a few times. He um, he couldn't beat anybody one on one, and normally that's a big strength of his. But he got the puck checked off his stick on a few occasions, or he simply flubbed it, or he couldn't make a clean handle, and whatever little space he had was gone. And it was just a game where nothing was clicking for number 97. Of course, that's a huge part of Edmonton's attack, and it's it's just I don't particularly want to single him out. I'm just saying it's so rare that it's comment worthy that that he wasn't involved in creating a single uh, uh, major scoring chance.
I don't think we've seen it all year,
Probably not.
Bruce. I don't think we have. So,
It's very unusual.
yeah, he's always in there, but not tonight. So,
A couple of neutral zone where did the step around some guy and one on one. I have an idea the ice wasn't good, but then I always say that when the Oilers have a bad game, but it didn't look like they were able to really make many clean passes. And Arizona didn't make that many clean passes either. They just muddled things up and they did it well. I mean, credit to them. They were down some key guys and they came out with a desperate effort. And that's the kind of games the Oilers have had trouble with all year, right from, whether they lost to Detroit, Chicago. Uh, there's been a number of games where you think the LA Kings game, where you think, but they were playing a team that had lost a few games and had to turn things around and were desperate to win. And Arizona had that element to their game tonight, and Edmonton just didn't have it. And Tippett knew it, and he knew it in advance. He could read the tea leaves, and it's not a total surprise. But getting shut out after the team scored three or more goals 9 straight games, to score none at all against a team missing its top pairing, is a little tough to swallow. But we're going to have to swallow it and move on.
it's been about a month between stinker games. So, I think that's pretty good for a team. I mean, every team is going to
Mm-hmm.
have them. And when the Oilers are going bad, Bruce, they have a stinker game. Probably every fifth game is a total stinker. When what we've seen during the decade of darkness. So a stinker game per month. Well, let's just hope they're done for February.
Well, there's none at all in January. I think the last one
There
was
was none.
December 27th against Calgary.
Yeah. So that's pretty good. That's a pretty good run of hockey, and it can't last forever, of course. And
Oh,
but I think they'll pick it up again. I think they're gonna crank it right up again. That's
well,
my prediction.
they got the Sharks on Thursday, and they're just going to need to come home and take care of business. What they need to do is, uh, and one of the orders of business in the NHL is not run into losing streaks, and especially regulation. You got to get results. If you lose one
Hmm.
game, you got to get something out of the next game, and just not stop the bleeding as fast as possible.
I think that's what's going to happen. Do you think we'll see Tyler Benson?
Maybe it depends on possibly Neal's availability, because if Neal is good to go, then they're going to have to pull two guys out of the lineup to put Benson in. But it would be disappointing if he got called up and then sent out because um, other guys are getting healthy. I mean, he's going to have to get in sooner or later, and maybe Thursday. I mean, if they're looking for a spark, then maybe that's one way to provide it. Have some kid out, hometown kid playing his first NHL game, and see if that fires up the troops a little bit.
I think it's a good idea. I'd like to see him in a game too. So I think they can put him on any line. I think he has something to offer. So it'd be great to see how he does. Alrighty, Bruce. Well, I think we've come to the end of the night.
Yeah, not much more to be said about that game. I made one tweet after that game, and my tweet said the less said about that game, the better.
I think we
So I
followed
think
that
we've
rule.
already said enough, even though this will be a short podcast by our usual long-winded standards.
All right. Well, thanks for talking tonight and get better, Bruce.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everyone.
And in the meantime, and in between times, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.